I have to look something up super fast, but do you want to do the opening while I'm like clackety clackety
Oh my
clackety?
gosh, sure. This is so exciting. Let me just lick the pickle from my fingers.
Okay, maybe we should just wait for me to do it. Emma's got pickle
No,
hands.
it's good.
She's unavailable.
I got pickle hands again. It's ASMR. Trust me. It's Clarkson's ASMR.
Man, they always got to be salty for some reason, right?
That's right. I love these pickles because they're just like me. They never chilled.
What?
They're never chilled.
Why are your pickles just hanging out in a barrel?
I think so. I just kissed my hand. I didn't even
Yeah,
look at
I
it.
know.
Like,
We're on a Zoom call. I know what you're doing with your hand. And you know what the
need
thing is?
them. I need both my hands in the video at all times.
Yeah. Keep your hands where I can see them. Although if you keep doing that, I might not want to see them. The funny thing is like I always knew what you were doing with your hands, and that just corroborated it for me.
Yes, definitely. This is an introduction. This is almost the same thing, right? So this is welcome to Screw Up the Podcast, and this is my podcast voice. Oh, this is a podcast where comedians Emma Rose, which is myself, and CJ Downeater, which is my host right here, my wonderful friend.
Hi. That's me. I'm a good friend to you.
If your friends don't use that voice, you need better friends. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. And here on the Screw Up, we've just generally screwed things up. We pick a different topic every week. You can catch our new episodes every Saturday on Spotify.
That is a really bad name for that. That is a really bad name for
that. That is Google Podcasts.
Oh,
nope, threw up this introduction in the wrong direction. Oh wow. Oh. Anyway,
yo, I love that.
Gonna do the introductions from now on.
Stitcher can just remain unchanged.
Well, if you have any questions, just let me know, audience, about this introduction about the show. No, I'm excited.
I think they've heard enough.
I think they've heard enough. I think we can move on to the meat of this show.
Okay, how about some meat? Yeah, now that we've had the appetizer, let's get on to the meat. Oh, it's falling off the bone. Ugh. Okay, so today we're talking about everyone's favorite mistake. Certainly Sheryl Crow's, which is 2020.
2020. We said it at the same time.
So, did we say it at the same time? I was like, that's so weird because I heard you say it after me. The funny thing is, I'm gullible sometimes. I'm gullible sometimes to the extent of where, like, I know that something else happened, and I'll still be like, "Wow, wait a minute, what?"
Same.
Damn. I just like don't trust. I don't trust my emotions and surroundings and feelings. Wait, okay. I really need to look for something specific, but I'll wait for now. Maybe I'll wait until we take a break. No. I don't want to wait. I'll wait till we take a break.
I've distracted you just enough. That's always my goal. If somebody's like, there's something important I need to do right now, I'm like, just start distracting until all the attention is diverted.
It's less of a distraction thing and more of like my keyboard will be too loud and like I don't know what it's called and I'd rather like not take up time from it like I'm doing right now. Okay, anyway, so 2020 categorically, I mean, let's get real. Obviously, I want to be silver liney. I want to be positive thought, or at least neutrally thought that it was a year and whatever years. But let's call a spade a spade. This was some fucked up shit. Like, start to finish, fucked up shit. We started with, like, claims of World War III, and we ended with, I don't even know what happened. Oh, the Nashville bombing. You know, that to me, that those are like the bookends of the year, kind of. And it's not like there weren't great things that happened in between for everyone, for the world, for people. But, like, people really were wilding out all year, making
Right.
mistakes, not apologizing for them.
No, I
And
feel like this year is a perfect topic for our podcast, as it is a mistake. I felt like in and of itself, it was just the whole year. It was like Earth's screw up. They're like, "Oops, drop the ball on this one. One more rotation, please. Can we start back over from the? I don't know astrology, so I would just say the moon.
yeah,
Can we use that as a point of reference? I don't know.
we head back to Ursa Major and just like take a left at Venus, and
Right.
just-
That we are. Yes. Can't. Yeah. Take it back to the Milky Way. Wait, are we in the Milky Way right now?
yeah, I think
That's
so.
our galaxy.
Yeah, the milkiest of ways.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so that makes a lot of sense. I don't belong here. I don't belong in this universe.
Oh my god, do they have a lactate way I could possibly move to? Oh, I love that. That's disgusting. That like sounds like the idea, a Milky Way.
I never thought about it until just now, but now I can't stop. I don't think I'll ever stop again.
Do you know what it makes me think of specifically?
Yes.
No, you don't. But let me tell you, it's the tube that the jizz comes out of.
Oh, I'm spending so much of this podcast already trying not to laugh directly into the microphone that it's just CJ watching me make the worst, squirmiest faces.
I mean, how could you not squirmy wormy when someone says that? Like that's but it just needed, it's like those, one of the things we learned this year or last year, I guess now, 2020, is when those thoughts come up, you gotta let them out.
Oh my God, that's so true. That's so true. And actually,
Yeah.
I'm so excited because we have been friends throughout the entirety of 2020. And so I was trying to like subconsciously guess if I knew what your story today would be, or if I even knew it or anything. So I'm really excited. Do you want to go first this week?
Sure.
Do a little switching around from week to week?
Yeah. Damn it. I was gonna use
Or do you want to look up that reference?
yeah, I wanted to use something as like a point of reference. So
Yes.
maybe, is it okay if you still go first because I didn't bring my thing? I made a mistake.
Oh, that's totally fine. Oh, put out your hand and I'll get a ruler.
How'd you know my king? How'd you know my
You're a
king?
bad boy.
Yeah. Oh, slap my fucking hand off or whatever. Look at this. Look at how jelly I'm like made of cartilage.
Oh wow! For our listeners, it's entirely like a gelatin constructed hand that he's got there. Whoop,
I
no,
mean,
there's bones.
If you want, there's the bone. Oh, it's popping out. Yeah. No, that if you ever really wanted like what is it called, a ghost hand job or whatever. I don't think that's what it's called. There's like a name for it. Do you know about this?
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm ejaculations.
Yes, a Ghostbuster.
Oh no! Oh
but I didn't have
no!
to.
Where's my phone? You need to be arrested. A Ghostbuster. Wait, okay. So that is not the term for it, but it needs to be forever.
Oh yeah, from now on, if I hear those chains rattling in my grandparents' house or anything, I'm gonna be like, ooh,
The
boo.
ghost of Christmas past has come to stroke me off again. No, it's you. If you
Touch me
sit
in my
on
boo. Sorry.
Oh no! Oh man, wait. Is there a Nope. Okay. I was thinking
Ruin
something
up the
with
podcast.
there was like poltergeist. No, I don't have one. Anyway, I do. Am I going to do this every podcast?
Poltergeist. I barely know poltergeist. Nope. Okay, I tried. That was
That
I shot
That
my
was
shot.
pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay. But it's when you sit on your hand. Do you know about this? When guys sit on their hand and then they jack themselves off, and then that's like, it feels like you go.
Whenever you hear me like cut you off and say, "Well, I feel like you're like, wait."
Yeah, No, I need to know what it is before I say
When
what
I
it
sit
is.
on their hand and then I jack them off.
You sit on their hands?
I haven't quite figured it all out yet, CJ. I was homeschooled. They teach you, we didn't have.
I was homeschooled. Oh yes, you were doing that shit in, third period.
Wait, I just thought about it. Okay, have you heard that it's called the stranger when you sit on your hand and then you?
That's
and
what
then
it
you-
is. It's
Yes,
called The Stranger.
yes.
Yeah.
So
I love Ghostbuster though. That's so
I know,
much
me
fun.
too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the stranger might not work because we were talking about the '90s last week, and everybody was talking to hands. Talk to the hand, and you're not supposed to talk to strangers.
Because the
So-
face won't talk to the hand because the face won't give you a blowjob.
That's right. That's right.
about that?
We're not that close.
That's what I was
God.
saying in the 90s when I was 8.
Exactly. I knew about sexual things. No, I was
You wanna
very
know-
confused.
The first sexual thing I ever learned about was a dildo. That's so weird.
That was like the
that's-
last sexual thing I ever learned.
I know. It was because in third grade, one of the kids found his mom's dildo and he was like talking about it. And I was like, what's a dildo? And he was like, you don't know what a fucking dildo is? And then he like told me what it was.
8-year-olds. Damn it.
Seriously, right? It was like it's so shitty because it's like fucking Jacob, whatever your name was, you just found out what it was.
Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Christmas.
Jacob Marley. You just went through your mom's lingerie closet.
Oh my god.
Okay, God. Anyway, we gotta reel this back in. So 2020.
Oh yeah. This is a show that we're doing.
This is a show. This is a show about mistakes. Hello.
Oh
Welcome.
my gosh. Okay. I'm going first. I already have forgotten. Okay.
Yes.
It's ironic that we're talking about hands as well, because that's what I've chosen for today's 2020 screw up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I'm sure once I start, you'll remember. So let me set the scene. It was summer of 2020. So I think a lot of us had a lot of big dreams for summer 2020 and big goals at the beginning of the year that really just trickled away over the months. As it got warmer in Chicago, I was like, oh, it's not 40 degrees, it's not snow everywhere, but also it's still the global pandemic. And so to cheer myself up and get myself out of the house, I went down to the Maggie Daley Park in downtown Chicago to do some roller skating in the ribbon where they normally do ice skating. Yes, I see CJ is nodding.
Yeah, I remember all of us now. Oh my God. This is funny that this is okay. I mean, it obviously this is a mistake, but yeah, it's funny that you
Oh, and actually, as I'm telling this now, I'm remembering more components that definitely solidify that it was a mistake. Because at first, let me lay it out. So I put my roller skates on. I've got my knee pads on. I've got my helmet with me. I've got my
with me. I love too the helmet. My favorite part is the skates have been worn twice. The helmet's never been worn, but the knee pads are all worn out.
Oh my God. How did that happen, stranger? And so I leave the wrist guards and the elbow pads and the helmet in my Scooby-Doo backpack at the entrance of the skating ribbon and just very confidently fly out onto this ribbon. And do a couple laps successfully. And I think, oh, now I know what I'm doing. So I can completely just shut out of that I'm rolling top speeds in a new place. And to make matters worse, I pull out my phone and I think this will make a really interesting, lovely, lovely little video of me skating around, and I could see my little shadow on the ground, and my shadow is dancing at me and it's skating and I'm waving. I'm like, hey, Shadow Emma. And the shadow's like, hey, real Emma. And then I fall. I don't think anybody's surprised at this point, but then I fall so hard that the phone still recording goes flying. And I think you can hear me a little bit at the end with the little I fall forward.
Wait, were you recording live or was it like, were you recording a video?
I was recording a video, and that's the saddest part is I still posted it because I'm like, any attention
Oh.
is positive.
I would have absolutely still posted it. I would have added like like whatever Tara Lipinski did at the Olympics. I would have added that music to the backdrop of it too.
Like applause.
No,
Or-
like the music that she skated to at the Olympics. Like I would
Oh,
have
that's
like,
a great idea.
you know what I mean? Like you were like, oh, like pirouettes, feeling myself, and then the music was like swelling as you were on the ground, just going, ah.
Yes, that's perfect. Sequins just everywhere, just
Yeah.
glitter akimbo.
Just if you could get little like me avatars at the bottom of the screen to just go 10, 10, 10.
I was only wearing nylon tights over every part of my body.
You were like,
Bedazzled to the nines.
we were like, what's her nuts came for me. The fuck, what was that movie was so good too. Where she
Blades
like
of Glory?
no,
Was
no, the one with was it Margot Robbie? No,
it Margot Robbie? Oh, she looks just like her. It's not her. I do that all
It
the
might-
time.
do you know what I'm talking about though?
The figure skating movie?
Yes, that was like it was semi-recent. It was really good. It was
I do.
based on a real story too. Who was it?
Oh, I didn't do references for this one. I should have looked up like skaters.
Okay, so it's funny that you say that because I was listening to last week's episode and I made that quote, that soul quote, and Will was listening to it and he's like, that's not at all what the quote was. Like you just
Oh
said
my
it
god,
totally
you're kidding
wrong.
me.
And I was like, I don't know.
I love
Whatever.
it though. What's the quote?
I don't know. I didn't learn what it was after I
Oh.
knew that it was.
That's too much work. Also, if you just fucking came up with that, though, that's amazing.
I didn't. It's like the thing
Similar?
is that I was close enough.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
But anyway,
But
so
I
okay.
actually prefer you to be close, but not directly on, because then we're probably clear. No plagiarism, nothing to worry about. No copyright
That's-
issues.
Yes, I mean,
Genius.
obviously calculated on my part.
Yeah.
So okay, so you fell.
I fell. Pretty much the only thing that was harmed was my left hand. I rolled pretty much all my weight directly onto it and over it, where my two smaller fingers, where there were three at one point as a baby. That'll be another podcast episode. But that area, that general area of the hand just got
Screw up the podcast being birthed.
yes. Oh yeah, I could screw that up.
Dude, that
Yeah, so
would
I
work.
kinda-
That would work.
You know how a hand folds? I'm asking you, but I don't know why. It folded the opposite. That makes it the easiest. Yes, it was pretty gross. Instead of so I get up pretty pathetically and I have to walk the rest of the ribbon out. Like I can't, I didn't want to
Was
skate out
anybody
of
else there? Like, did anybody come check on you?
There was a family. There was a family there, but it was during the pandemic, and I don't blame them. They looked like mildly uncomfortable, but it was probably because I was still groaning, just a little.
I
And
mean, that girl, that's city living for you though. Like
it
you
is.
could,
It is.
you could,
Everybody
like-
minds their own business to a degree that is so bizarre.
you could set somebody on fire and people would cross the street.
Absolutely. The things that I've ignored since living in
Hello.
Chicago blow me away. Blow me away. We'll have to
It's
have a whole
because
episode on that.
If you ignore them, then they're not real. Then you don't have to carry the baggage of what you just saw with you.
Yes. Screw up the train. Screw up the CTA. Screw up the
Girl.
subway. Yes. All of that.
Girl.
Screw up transportation in Chicago.
I will say I don't miss that. I don't miss
You
the,
don't
the
miss
shock
it?
of getting on a train and being like, this is some of the craziest shit.
I didn't
I
think I
know.
would, but I miss it very much. I miss the
Oh.
thrill of it. I miss stepping down onto the Blue Line platform underground and just not knowing if I'd ever come back up.
Oh my God.
It was the best. I'm like, I'm getting on the midnight train. Oh my God. The midnight meat train.
I liked being on the train for sure, but yeah, that very distinct feeling of like confusion and discomfort and yeah.
Capital
definitely.
stink.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Distinct.
Girl. And I pretty much only took the brown line. And sometimes, girl, the brown line was the brown line.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because people were shitting on it.
Yes,
I
Kim
have
bullshit.
gotten on have you ever gotten on a train where there was a loaf in the middle of the ground?
Not that I've known. I've had questions, and then it's pretty much, it's actually, it's it's something I'm kind of proud of myself for. Sometimes I feel like there's a parental switch in my brain that I'll see something or hear something, and that switch will flip, and then I will not pay attention to whatever it is anymore. Like, gone, shut out, walk away, not processing that into memory.
It's interesting that you should say that too, because I remember doing the same thing where I like it, but almost to a fault, where like I realized that there was shit on the ground, and so obviously it's stank to high heaven, because like who knows how long it was there. It was like it smelled so bad that it could have either have been immediately fresh or been there for days. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, but I remember being on that train and being like, I have the option to get off this car, but I won't, because then that will bring that person who did that more shame. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to smell this shit. I'm going to sit in another person's shit. It was
also,
a mistake.
I think that's on like a BuzzFeed list, or like a Chicago bucket list. Is to ride an entire commute with an actual human fecal matter unit.
I did do that.
A unit of
do that. Also, though, here's the tea, though, is that it was 4 o'clock in the middle of the week, and you better believe that there was nobody else on that train. So I got a seat all to myself.
Oh my God,
way more important to me. It's way more important to me than smelling good.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Okay, so long story short, I'm pretty sure I broke my hand. But instead of going to like an urgent care or an ER, as it is, the COVID and the risks are a little higher now. So instead, I just went home and used my phone's flashlight to stare through the flesh of my hand at the inflammation. And then I watched it turn a beautiful rainbow of colors over the next few weeks, and went about my day. So I would say my mistakes, as there are probably multiple here, but are to wear my PPE when I'm roller skating.
Hello.
I need that helmet. It could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And there really wasn't anybody when I fell right there. I had to shamefully pass that family on my way out, but there wasn't anybody there. I was by myself. So when you're going to do something like that, it's really important that you tell someone where you're going.
Yeah.
One, in case an accident like that were to happen, because there really was not a lot of people around. Two, that you wear your knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards. If it's something that requires it or you could benefit from having it on, do it. It's easy. And then 3, operating your cellular device while rolling top speeds precariously in a new location. So when I first thought of the story, I was like, I just fell down. Everyone just falls down. And then when I followed it back, I actually found so many little gems, so many lessons to take with me and learn and use in my future roller skating endeavors. And I hope you guys can, and this helps you too. Keeps your little fingers safe.
You know, I think what's interesting is that you learned all of those things from this, but I think the rest of us knew a lot of those things prior to this story being told.
Yes. I'm like, when you find a cigarette on the ground and then you smoke it, don't do that, because that's how you get herpes. And everyone's like, yeah, no, we haven't done that. Okay,
but here's the thing. I have done that. Of course I've done that.
But you already have. That's how I got it.
But I was out there giving the people herpes. Those are my cigarettes.
That's actually how I got genital herpes, though.
I really didn't know how to smoke cigarettes.
I think we're just gonna boof something else every week.
Yeah, I
That'll be it.
smoked cigarettes with my penis and huffed glue with my ass. And what of it?
A puffer fluffer.
I went to public school. What do you want from me?
A puffer
Are you eating?
fluffer.
Are you eat? Are you eating more pickle?
I have a problem, CJ. I legit ran through the house like an animal. Like, you know, when you have to pee and you got like a long commute and you finally get home, and you're like, I don't want to pee all over my house because then I'm going to have to clean it up. And so I ran so fast through the house and to the fridge, like past my aunts. And I was just like, they were like, is everything okay? And I was like, I need a pickle. I reached in and grabbed one, ate a whole pickle. You can see this, our listeners can't, but I mean, look at the size of these.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're so
Pickles
big.
are delicious. But like, are you having like a salt thing? Like, do you not have enough salt?
Is that a thing?
I don't think, I mean, I never experienced it because I eat a shit ton of salt.
I used to keep a block in my room, but not anymore.
For what? Licking?
Mm-hmm. Yep, like a horse.
Oh, that was sugar. Salt. Wait, do horses lick salt?
They do. They have salt. They're called salt licks.
If you're a horse, comment below and let us know if you
Like and
lick
subscribe if you're a horse.
Yeah, and
Use
we'll
your
know
Google.
it's you. We'll know it's you if it just looks like a bunch of hooves smashing into a keyboard.
Yes.
We'll know.
Oh man.
So okay, but let me. I obviously do remember this story now. It washed all over my face when we talked. This is really all I can say about this situation is I'm glad that you know now what you should have known prior to the situation happening.
Thank you.
But
you know what? I think everybody learns at different rates.
That's true. That's true. And I have to say too that one of the things I love about you is that you will sort of be like unbridled with like wanting to find joy out of something, and almost you like need to be unencumbered to do it like exactly the way you're just like, get this protective shit out of my way, get these people out of my way, I need to have free fun. And it's like,
yes.
It's like, despite the safety measures, despite the possibilities of but I think the thing about this that gets me the most is that you didn't go to the hospital. Because I remember when you showed it to me when I was like, why didn't you go to the hospital? And you were like, well, now it's been weeks. So now what do you want me to do? And then I was like, what do you mean it's been weeks?
I've lost fingers before. I just had extra to lose, but now I don't have any extra. I only have the 10.
Yeah.
So I do have to be more careful.
You're playing with fire. You're like, it's cool. I didn't miss the last one. I won't miss this one. But let me tell you, fingers, the little squirrely digits, you're gonna want those for a lot of different things, and not just Ghostbusters.
Yeah. When I try to do the stranger, it never works.
Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna fit somebody without a fist? That's what I always say.
Yes, it's like I feel like I'm just going through one of those beaded hippie doorways.
Wait, what?
With my crotch. I don't know. Okay, we can move on from that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I think on that note, I think we're gonna go ahead and take a break. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna eat a pickle on our break. I hope you guys enjoy our quick break.
She's gonna eat a pickle on her break. She's been eating pickles this entire time. She's gonna eat an additional pickle on her break. Let's take a break. What is going on? You've had so much practice eating those pickles, and yet here you are, choking them down like it's your first one. I love that though. It's very performative. Yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, it's so big. Oh my God, you ever do that?
I'm so glad I muted it because I've never laughed out loud in my life. I'm trying to pickle my face. Sometimes
Okay,
I'll hold on to the same pickle over and over for a while, and they'll end up being a thumb mark. in the pickle because I've held it so long.
Oh my God.
They're my comfort pickles.
Is that how you, yeah, I was gonna say, is that how you mark your men?
How I what?
Mark your men?
Yes, it's how I deal with life.
Damn. That is okay. Let me
Sometimes I have a lot of pickles, but then one of them disappears.
How many literally though, how many pickles have you had? And you're like, and I'm not stopping now.
I'm really I told it was a rule of mine. I promised myself, I'm like, don't eat during the podcast. This is 80 fluid ounces worth of Clausen's pickles.
Are you gonna drink that juice?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna mix it with some Mountain Dew and make a witch doctor.
Oh, what?
You never heard of a witch doctor? I
Ew.
called the witch doctor, and this is what he said: put a pickle juice in some Mountain Dew. What was the beat so quickly?
That was a very witch doctor who needs to open a couple of windows because the fumes are getting to him. It was like, I'm a witch doctor, and this is what he said: put a couple of pickle juice in the Mountain Dew.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay. Anyway, we're back.
We're back. I'm gonna save this thumb printed pickle for next time, for later.
Or whatever you need to tell yourself. Okay, so save it for later for eating.
Right.
So
air quotes.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. My name is CJ, and it is my turn to talk about the stuff about 2020. It's really it was hard to pick one thing, so I kind of didn't. I kind of just talked about what I am most like. Not even necessarily. This has a very different tone, I feel like, than yours, but I hope that's okay. So
I'm excited. I mean, not excited, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit more to the meat of 2020.
Maybe. I think I'm going to start it off with, I'm going to read a selection of something I wrote to you from the COVID diaries.
Wow.
I have not read this in a very long time. I actually haven't read this since I wrote it. So there's a little time capsule, but I wanted to read it on the podcast because I wanted it to kind of like tie up in summation, because I really think that at the beginning of the pandemic, which was when we were writing these, which was basically the COVID diaries, was something that Emma and I were doing. We were writing note letters back to each other in a Google Doc while we were in the initial part of quarantine. The idea being that by the end of quarantine in June, at the time in our heads, we would have something to be like, oh my God, like we got through it together, blah, 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 blah.
Right. And it was a great processing tool in and of itself too, for me.
Yeah, it was, but it got progressively darker, and it is very obviously progressively darker, because you can tell that both of us start to realize that there is no real end in sight to this thing, and that what initially ended up being like a coping mechanism just kind of, for me anyway, became sort of a terrible reminder of the reality that like we weren't getting out of this anytime soon. So I wanted to pick something that was a little bit later, and I don't want to meet myself with too much judgment, but I can tell you right now that I can guarantee that this is going to be pretty annoying. Like, I feel like I'm going to read this and I'm going to be like, you're annoying. But that is sort of the point, right? Okay. So this is CJ to Emma on March 30th, 2020. So it's been about 14 days of the pandemic, or at least what people consider the beginning of pandemic to be in Chicago, which is the weekend of the 14th, right?
It's kind of different everywhere, but about, 12th, 13th, 14th, that was our 12th.
Yeah, I mean, and for some people, it never shut down. So, they're like, what pandemic? But whatever. So CJ to Emma, I'm feeling a bit spun out today. It started well enough with a little bit of cathartic crying in bed after reading about how many people were going to go hungry because of COVID-19. A quick yoga break and workout, a nice almond latte, homemade, because, you know, can't go to places. Oh my God, I already hate myself. And a spiral down the staircase of how the fuck do I get a job with no relevant work history that isn't service industry and that offers telecommuting, with a back handspring into a certification for unemployment, catapulting me into the very real possibility of not being eligible for any money. That's pretty funny.
No, I feel like you can take the worst situations and like spin them into like little webs of interesting literature.
That's the thing, is it's like I really like reading that. I'm just like, wow, you made something really mundane sound really fucking cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But then it says, well, now that I type it out, it's obvious how it got so bad so fast. The days aren't different, so I don't know why I am. I'm different every hour, every minute. I feel so strongly, too strongly. It's causing rifts in myself that I take out on Will if he talks to me at the wrong time. It's only been 2 days since we've seen each other, but it somehow devolved quickly from the sage. Wait. Oh, I've somehow devolved quickly from the stage that spoke above to a complete puddle of hopelessness. It was truly wonderful to spend time with you, and I'm so grateful that we were able to do that. I hadn't laughed like that in, well, whatever the last time was since we saw each other, I guess. I schedule out all of my time, all of it, and yet I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I feel like in the 19th days I've been in quarantine, I've accomplished nothing, and I don't even know whether or not it matters. I don't want to leave this on a bad note, so I'll say my hair is super poofy today, and I just ate some melon, and it made my mouth poofy too. Plus, we've opened our windows, and the fresh air is just gushing in, and I would like to drown in it, please. I hope you're faring a bit better than me, friend. I miss you, PJ. So this is fascinating because I feel like shaking that poor little idiot, especially when I get to, I schedule. What's that?
I want to hug him, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I still can't, but you know.
Right. Yeah. I want to hug that poor idiot who's scared of getting COVID. Yeah, it is so funny when I read something like it's 19 days in quarantine and I've accomplished nothing and I don't even know whether or not it matters. Guess what I learned? It doesn't matter. It's fine, because now it's the future, and I read that and I think to myself about all the things that could have been in 2020 and all the things that I beat myself up over. And I think my biggest regret or my biggest mistake was living in this world where in quarantine, I spent so much of my time thinking that I needed to be creating something or doing more than just being okay, especially 19 days into a global pandemic. And I was berating myself for not being the same kind of productive that I could have been outside of it. Like my whole world had gotten turned upside down. And I was like, why can't you produce more things? Why can't you be worth more? Why can't you be more successful? And now I don't care about any of that shit. I mean, to an extent, right? Like, I don't care about it in the sense that I no longer attach that stuff to my self-worth. Right. And that, I think, is the biggest thing that has come out of 2020. When the pandemic started, I sat down with myself and I was like, you don't have any worth. Like, that was what I felt because I wasn't doing anything or not doing enough, you know? And now I realize that it's sort of the opposite situation where like you need to feel worthwhile to do things that can feel worthwhile, because otherwise you're not going to, you know, feel the energy, the power to be able to get started and to be able to make things happen for yourself. So yeah, I mean, I just think that like it was a screw up that needed to happen because I had always kind of felt that on a basis level, you know, throughout my whole life, but I had the outside world to distract me so much. When during the pandemic, I really had to sit with that emotion and think to myself, what do I want to what do I think success looks like? What do I think happiness looks like? And I actually just had a conversation yesterday with a good friend who she said that she wants to cancel the word happiness because she thinks that, it's basically become a transactional thing. And that she wants to feel joy, not happiness, because people think that you achieve happiness. It's not even something that you feel anymore. It's something that you get, it's something you can buy, it's something that you win. And I think that all of that,
Trophy, a token, yeah.
yeah, and I think that all of that is a very good point too. And I really am coming into 2021 with basically the complete opposite headspace of this person being like, when I say like the days aren't different, and that it's okay that I am, like, it's okay that I feel differently every day because that's how nature works. I'm different every hour, every minute. And it's like the way I'm writing that is as if I'm mad
But
about
it's a bad thing.
yeah, that there's something wrong with me for feeling
Right.
differently every hour. Whereas like I have this idea that I should be the same person all the time, happy, successful, driven, expelling energy, all those things, when no person and no thing in nature is able to do that. So I don't know.
Wow.
I guess I just want to end this on like a hopeful and positive note because I know how many people felt like that, and you might still be feeling like that. And I want to tell you right now that your mind's playing tricks on you. Like
Right.
your mind is playing tricks on you to tell you that you needing time to rest or time to think or time to be mad, sad, angry, whatever it is like all a waste, and that you should always be one thing. And I am here to say that you're going to spend so much time being so angry at yourself for completely normal emotions if you stay on that trajectory. Leave that shit behind in 2020 and move forward with me. Move forward with us, because I know you feel similarly.
Absolutely. And when you were saying about happiness being transactional, one of the first things that came to my mind was the idea that, like, achieving happiness, like you said, is the first thing that comes to mind is that involves another party.
Yeah.
That would
Oh,
involve someone at the very least to show that you've achieved happiness to, because it's like
so
when
true.
that's an aspect of it, instead of just being able to enjoy the feeling by yourself. And this last year was a crash course in getting my needs met without compromising my relationships, because I realized throughout my life I was using people in ways that I wasn't even aware of, because
Mhm.
it felt so innocuous, or it even felt helpful to the world or to them. But I was using people as a distraction. I was using people as a merrick, as a merrick, as a metric.
Oh, that's
I
what
was
it is.
using
I
people
was like, I actually don't know what word you're trying to say.
yeah, no,
America?
America. I was using people as a metric to judge my own value and my own self-worth, instead of really looking
Absolutely.
inward and finding out, do I like myself? If I don't like myself, what can I do to either manage my mind better,
Yeah.
or maybe make some changes, or make some big steps towards acceptance
Yeah.
of what maybe I dislike. And it's definitely still a journey, but the moves that I made in 2020, I can't move backwards from.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
yeah, there were doors that I opened that I'm so glad that you and I walked through, that I'm
Yeah.
so glad are closed and locked now behind us, and
Yeah.
that we don't have to go back there again.
Yeah. You know what they
If
say
we
when, what were you going to say?
Oh, just that just that we hatched out of little eggs. When you were talking about the COVID diaries, I'm brought back to
Oh,
that time so vividly. It was such an intense. I think it was the fear and anxiety made everything feel so hyper real, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I was processing everything very carefully,
yeah.
because of the paranoia and the fear and the uncertainty and everything. So I
Yeah.
do recall that time so gutturally, and it's so
Mhm.
interesting to hear those passages. I think I'm going to go back and read some of them too if I'm feeling brave today.
I think
um
it's really fascinating too, because like I know that what I was feeling, and that like timeline where it's like wake up, cry,
yeah,
yoga, almond
cry.
milk,
Oh.
cry. Like yeah. I got that. I just had one more thing in between. Yeah, it's like very like that's relatable. Like I guarantee there were a lot of people that that felt like their world got turned upside down. Their world got turned upside down. And the reality is that we're still living in it. However, I think now the difference for us is not that we feel like our world is being turned upside down or whatever. It's just that we've now acknowledged the fact that like this kind of grand change, this kind of intense change, you never have any control over. So the fact of we felt like we were spiraling out of control because we had assumed that we had any control over the situation in the first place.
Yes, and we felt very uncertain because we didn't realize that we are never certain about anything that's coming next.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh. Hundo P. Yeah. And I think that I would say that was the biggest screw up, that I spent too much time in that headspace, because even I could have been doing nothing, which I was, at that time, and also have been happy about being able to do nothing rather than like doing nothing and stressed out. But I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I spent that time there, because it eventually got me to the point of being like, this cannot continue. Like, this cannot be how I feel all the time. Like, I have to figure something else out. And like you said, I think we both did. We passed that threshold. And, on the other side, guess who? Jesus.
Jesus Cristo.
Jesus Christ, standing there with a hot dog in one hand and his dick in the other.
Oh my God, okay, which is bitch? Who's to say?
They were both in buns. I'm confused.
My buns.
My buns. Oh my God. I was filled by the Lord today. There was ketchup on it. I licked it off. Okay. Sorry, that's a Toby Keith unreleased. I wasn't supposed to sing that. We don't have the rights to it. All right. I think that's probably, we're gonna have to call it though. Yeah. I hate that but I also love it because like what a positive and weird. It's like we were super positive and then it got really weird immediately. And I feel like that's like the perfect little bow.
Absolutely. That's gonna be our niche, I think.
It already has been. Yeah. Okay. So Emma, if people want to listen to Screw Up the Podcast, where can we go?
Ooh, we are on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on Google Podcasts. We are on Anchor FM, which you can download and make podcasts yourself. That's what we use. Let's see. We can also follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Screw Up the Podcast. Let's see. Yep. Castbox, Breaker, and Overcast are also great streaming platforms to listen to the podcast on.
It's like you have to literally go out of your way to avoid to listen to this podcast now. That's right. What I think.
Yes. And another thing that I feel like I'm trying to practice more this year in 2021 now is asking for what I want. I don't feel like it hurts to ask. And I would love for our listeners to rate and review and subscribe on whatever platform they're using. That would mean so much to both of us. And it would help help us move forward, and help us keep creating this podcast and feel enthused and everything, which we will regardless, but it'll give us that extra little push.
And we would love it if you rate and subscribe to the podcast if you can. And we're also very interested in hearing about your mistakes, be it from the 1990, be it from the 2020, be it from, I don't care, a past life, doesn't matter. But you can email us at screwupthepodcast@gmail.com. And who knows, we might just share one of your mistakes on the pod and talk about it. You can obviously, keep it anonymous if you like, but otherwise we would be happy to spill the tea and air your dirty laundry. My fingers are out again. All right. I don't know. I think we did it, right?
I think so. I think we did the thing. And what we were talking about with 2020 reminded me how much I've learned in 2020 to sit in my shit, and how, and I kind of want to leave our listeners with some advice that my mom gave me recently.
Okay, I love that.
And it's to go out today and do something you really enjoy and remind yourself why you enjoy it. Or go do something you really hate and remind yourself why you hate it.
Was that the advice?
Yes, I loved it. For some reason, I was like, yep, that's right. Just solidify it. Whatever.
Here's my. I mean that this is kind of piggybacking onto my advice, which is if you're doom scrolling on Twitter, look at your finger and go, I have a finger. Does that make sense?
Yes. And then sit on it.
Okay, basically what I mean by that is remind yourself that you are in your own body. We spend a lot of time being here. Remind yourself of your surroundings. You have wait, what?
Oh, I said he's referencing his head. You said we spent a lot of time in here.
Oh yeah, I forgot the podcast. Oh no.
If I was quicker, I would have,
Yeah, I'm screwing it up. You know what? It's fine. Here's the thing. This is free. So if we're not giving you good advice, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
You aren't paid.
Do not torture yourself with our podcast.
Rate, subscribe. Do not rate us based on comedy. Do not rate us based on whether or not we helped you. We are not here to help you. We are here to talk about ourselves. Amen.
Yes, help yourself. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Podcast. Why don't you figure it out for once? Goodbye.
Yeah. I like that. Goodbye.
Goodbye.